Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you my most unsuccessful and most expensive blind buys that I made under the influence of YouTube bloggers or comments in Fragrantica. I'm a sort of person who buys the majority of the fragrances blindly because I like this crazy, risky and expensive game, and I'm ready to pay that price for any mistakes and errors, because again, the 90% of the fragrances that I purchase blindly are quite successful and meet all my expectations, and only 10% end up unsuccessfully and disappointing. So today you will see that 10%. I strictly don't advise to do the same thing I do. Don't buy expensive fragrances blindly under the influence of someone, even me. It's better to purchase the decant or go and smell them in the store if they're available. However, again, I'm that crazy person who likes buying fragrances, purchasing fragrances blindly, because I get extra excitement and extra pleasure from the whole process of looking for the fragrance, very unique, probably even discontinued, something different from others, hunting for the best price, ordering it and waiting. And I think this waiting process is something special because you don't know what to expect. And the factor of surprise that you get with this magical box with the perfume, with that first experience when you spray it and realizing if this fragrance meets your expectation and your imagination of the fragrance, if this is how you imagine this fragrance will be, or even if it is beyond your expectations, that another level of excitement and enjoyment that you get. For me, this is much better than going to the store and smelling it and buying it in the store, or even ordering it online because it's cheaper. For me, it is another level again of excitement and adrenaline rush to buy fragrances blindly. So today I will show you that 10% of errors and that price that I pay for my errors. The first fragrance I want to start with is a fragrance from Attar collection. This is my first Attar collection fragrance from this brand. It's called Floral Musk. I like the presentation a lot, and I like how the bottle looks like. I think it's nice. And I wanted to have something from this brand because I heard lots of good positive feedbacks about this brand and the fragrances from this brand. But I didn't want to buy something that everyone else has already. I wanted something new and unique, and that was a very new release. I believe it was 2020 or 2019, something really new. When I read the list of notes, it attracted me a lot because it had amber and oak moss. Those are two ingredients for me to die for because I love them a lot. And there was only one comment, one review in the Russian-speaking Fragrantica and zero in the English-speaking Fragrantica at that time, that said this is an oriental fairy tale, ambery mossy fairy tale that you must have in your collection if you love those ingredients, if you love those notes. And when I smelled this fragrance, when I sprayed it, I realized that I purchased another copy, another clone of Baccarat Rouge 540, which is my nightmare because the oak moss, the overdose of oak moss that Baccarat Rouge has is not an oak moss in a traditional perception, in my traditional perception, which I normally love in Chyprus. It is another version of oak moss, a molecular, a new one. It's called Evernil. It's synthetic. It's kind of modern and contemporary type of oak moss that smells to me pretty much like hospital, like operational room, like antiseptic called betadine, like altogether something that I wouldn't like to smell like. It's something that I don't like to smell from myself or from someone who is next to me. I have a hypersensitivity to this ingredient and to this particular note. I know this because, let's say, my husband doesn't have, and he likes Baccarat Rouge. Let's say when he smelled it, he said it smells like candy, like lollipops to him. The same is for my daughter. She said it's yummy, it's very pleasant, but all I can smell, it's a huge hospital filled in with lots of sick people with wounds who need operations, and with lots of antiseptic and just a little bit, tiny bit of sweetness. That's why when I received this one, I realized that oak moss mentioned in the list of notes in Fragrantica is not an oak moss in my traditional perceptions. It's Evernell. That was a lesson learned for me. Now I know that it's not smart and wise to buy fragrances if there are no reviews, especially for the new releases, and rely on only one single comment is not a smart thing to do. However, I must admit the fragrance is very high quality in terms of ingredients. It doesn't smell cheap or synthetic, not at all. It has very good performance and lasting power, so everything is there. My husband likes it, but he doesn't wear it. I believe the bottle looks very feminine to him, and he has some prejudice about that, like many men does. So anyway, by the way, if you live in Dubai and you are interested in buying this fragrance, let me know in the comment section down below. The next fragrance I purchased under the influence of one Turkish YouTuber, blogger that I love watching. I love her channel. Her name is Daria and the channel name is Perfume Dance. If you speak Turkish, I strictly advise you to visit her channel and subscribe if you like the content, because I love Daria and I love the way she talks, and I like the fragrances. We have very similar tastes with her. I believe we're the same age. And when I saw this fragrance in her collection, and she said that she's wearing Amouage Jubilation 25 for 1 week already, continuously, non-stop, day by day, and I saw that her bottle is well used. I remembered that probably 1 year ago I desperately was looking for this fragrance. I wanted to buy it because I love Amouage, especially old collection. I love Chypres, and Daria also loves Chypres, and I knew that I like this classical French fragrances. This is how this fragrance was described by many people in Fragrantica in the comments, and like for me, the majority of the Amouages that I purchased blindly were successful blind buys, and I believed that this one will be one of them. And I totally forgot about that. Something stopped me 1 year ago from purchasing this fragrance, and I totally forgot about that. I was completely charmed by Daria and her description of this fragrance, and the fact that she's wearing it every day, and she's addicted by this fragrance, to this fragrance, and she loves it. And this is Chypre, classical French, everything that I like, and I totally forgot about one fact that stopped me at that time. And when I received this bottle and I sprayed it, I straight away remembered and realized what was that. This is another type of Chypre that is out of my league. This is something that smells pretty much like Mitsuko by Guerlain. And Mitsuko, it's one of the first, I believe, classical Chypres. It's like a legendary Chypre that every Chypre lover should have in their collection, but not necessarily should love and use. This is my case. Sorry, I just wanted to check my microphone. And this is my case. I have it in my collection. I have Mitsuko Eau de Toilette, but I don't use it. Because for me, it is too much retro, as well as this one. And I believe that the Mitsuko even before it was reformulated, it was much prettier. And I believe it was pretty much close to this fragrance. Like, this smells like Mitsuko before it was reformulated, because Mitsuko in a new release, it's a bit synthetic and it smells a bit cheap at the same time. But this one is a refined, high quality golden juice in a bottle. It's amazing. It's very beautiful. I can imagine a lady wearing diamonds and fur in a long black gown, walking on a red carpet and wearing this fragrance. But again, this is not my cup of tea. This is the type of classical French fragrance like Chanel No. 5, like Van Cleef & Arpels First. It's that soapy, a bit aldehyde type of fragrances that, even for me, a fan of retro and old school type of fragrances, is too much. So unfortunately for me, this is too much retro, something that I'm not going to wear. And though I admit this is the highest possible quality, like all Amouage fragrances, especially the old collection, I'm talking about the old collection, it is a beautiful, amazing fragrance, but this is not my taste. I realized that at that time I didn't buy this fragrance because I read about the resemblance with Mitsuko, and I realized that what kind of chypres is this? Yes, it has rose, it has lemon, it has tarragon, I believe, it has lots of okmos. It's a beautiful pyramid. However, the end is not my cup of tea. This is a very round, a very polished and refined juice, high quality juice with amazing performance and lasting power. Everything is there. And sillage, however, again, this is not my cup of tea. Like Chanel No. 5 is not, like Mitsuko is not my cup of tea, as well as this one. Another fragrance that I purchased under the influence of YouTube blogger, the most probably you know much better than anyone else, because she's one of the most famous and most popular ones among ladies. I'm talking about Demi Rowling, and she was talking about Xerjoff Ouverture. She said this is one of the most beautiful fragrances from Xerjoff. This is how it looks, and yes, the presentation is really nice. This is a velvet coating on the bottle. However, this is something that I don't like at all, and it's strange. Again, before I purchased this one, I looked at the pyramid, and the pyramid was amazing. I loved all the notes that I saw. There was fig leaf that I like a lot. There was some oranges, I believe, flowers like rose, I think, along. There was some vanilla, cashmere, some sandal, incense, some very, very beautiful ingredients and notes that I really, really enjoy. However, in this fragrance, they smell like cacophonic to me, like something that doesn't match. They don't match. They don't get well together. Like they argue with each other. It's not a marriage. Like they couldn't marry. You know, the perfumer couldn't marry those ingredients. Like let's say the fragrances from Mugler, they are very, very controversial, and there are ingredients that probably you would think do not go together because they might fight with each other, because they don't, just, you know, completely opposite to each other. However, the perfumer managed to marry them, managed to blend them to perfection, and Those fragrances are masterpieces from Amouage the same way. They are controversial, but those are beautiful blendings. For some reason, again, probably this is only my taste and my perception, I couldn't get that from this fragrance. Like it's like mixing of unmixable. The perfumer tried to mix unmixable things and it didn't end up well. It has a good performance, I believe, a nice projection and everything's there, but it's just this fig leaf, unfortunately, a very bitter green, milky and a bit coconutty, and I just hate coconut in the perfumery. It's very rare that I like it, but in this case it's very typical, this fig leaf, green fig leaf mixed with bitterness and milky aspect, like tonic aspect, and this coconut and some strange sweetness together. They just don't match, just don't. So unfortunately, Xerjoff Overture is another miss for me. So that's it for today. Those were all my 3 disappointing fragrances, but it's again the question of taste. There is nothing wrong with the fragrances. They're beautiful, they're amazing, and if you use them, if you love them, you are very lucky, and I envy you, because I'm not that lucky and I couldn't, love them for some reason. It's a pure question of taste, that's it. So it doesn't mean that you have good taste and I don't, or I have good taste and you don't. It means nothing. It means that we are different, we have different tastes, and this is amazing. This is how it should be. So thanks for watching me. If you liked my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to press that notification bell to be notified about my next release. And I also invite you to visit my Instagram page, and if you like it also, don't forget to subscribe. Again, thanks for watching me, and I hope to see you in my next video next week. Bye.